All right, before we get into today's podcast, I just want to say thank you to Inebri-Art Supplies for being our August sponsor. They sent us a box of magic that we're going to use to give away at our actual 5th anniversary life drawing at New World Tavern this month, as well as be the prize for the Daily Drawing Challenge. And so Inebri-Art Supplies was founded by G.J. Gillespie, and he founded Inebri-Art Supplies to meet the needs of artists like him seeking the ideal artist travel journal. The size and paper quality had to be right. After weeks devoted to researching stationery supplies, he found the best manufacturers to produce his dream sketchbook. And they sent us a bunch of them, and they're pretty sweet. And they also sent us some mechanical pencils. So if you're interested in seeing what Inebri-Art Supplies has to offer, go to ledaartsupplies.com. That's LEDA artsupplies.com. And thanks again to our sponsor this month.
You don't even know what song it is.
No, just going off.
Are you serious?
It's Welcome Back, Carter, dude.
Welcome back.
Yeah. Jesus.
Welcome back.
Was it 6:30 Thursday?
Right? Yeah. I know the song.
Unbelievable.
Hey.
Please tell me that's on. Yes!
I have Carl's new ringtone.
Welcome back to the Inebri-Art podcast. I am your co-host, Jordan Shabbat, joined by Karl Heine.
Hello, everybody.
And this is a big deal right now. This is Inebri-Art's 100th episode, and the guys behind the curtain, or microphone, or
We've
laptop.
already recorded the 100th episode.
Oh, goddamn! You can't.
See, I'm
do
going
that.
to totally take it away from him like
You
that.
can't do that. The 100th released episode we are recording at the moment, and we were asked to interview these two motherfuckers right here. We got Andy Driscoll of Inebri-Art.
Yep.
And Michael Fish Murphy.
Oh my God, that's your first name.
It's the
You're right?
No.
No? Your name's been on the podcast before?
No.
This is Michael Murphy.
There are legitimately people in this town who have known me for 5+ years who have no idea what the fuck my real name is.
Well, why is your name fucking Fish?
I used to sell seafood, and I don't know how many guys named Mike you know. I'm guessing it's a shit ton.
It's a way to separate yourself from
It's when you're referring to Mike, and you have to ask which one. It's like, oh, it's Fish.
chicks into it.
Actually, technically, we used to.
I don't know, because most of them aren't into me. So
How
I don't really care what name.
So the Fish is this.
Literally, how it happened is people would be like, I saw Mike today. And I would be like, which one? And they'd go, Fish Boy. And you'd be like, all right. So he was initially Fish Boy, and now he's a Fish Man.
Fish Man.
Yeah.
Merman.
What was that?
There's a little Zoolander drop. I'm sorry, I couldn't help it. Wow. No, all right. That's
I
fine.
didn't know you did dolphin noises.
It wasn't a dot.
Was that what that was?
It was a light coal
All right,
mine.
for Christ's
call.
sakes, do a dolphin then. I don't know if I can do it.
You can. Your laugh kind of sounds like a dolphin, so that works out. So you guys are the godfathers of the Inebri-Art group. I'm not gonna corner it into podcast. You guys started not even as a podcast, right? It was basically an extracurricular activity. You were sort of marrying maybe the bar social life with art. Is that where the name comes from? Because
so it started even before it was called Inebri-Art. At the time, there was a movement out of LA that was called Drink and Draws. The most famous one's the Drink and Draw Social Club. And it's where artists would get together at a bar and draw for fun because they were tired of like deadlines and drawing shit they didn't want to draw. And that's how it started. A friend of mine, the other guy behind and kind of the silent partner of Inebri-Art, worked Tenant Bar Fridays. And he's like, dude, we should start a drink and draw. I'm like, great, when? He's like, I work Thursdays. I'm like, I'll see you next Thursday. And that's how it
Nice.
started.
So and then it just took off from there.
That went on that way every Thursday for about 2.5 years.
Wow. So
when you say drink and draw, people can come in and draw. Are they drawing exactly what you tell them to draw? Or can they
No. This is literally show up with your sketchbook, bring a pen, draw whatever the fuck you feel like,
And
drink.
So was that an excuse to just kind of like stare at the hot bartender and not get in trouble?
Well, John's not hot. Well, I don't think he's hot.
He's
Oh,
not-
no, well,
you might be
all right.
into him.
He doesn't really do anything for it.
I mean, you might be into him, but he's not my type.
We
No, but
discussed
it literally was just because when you're a professional artist, not that I was or am, you spend all your time at the drawing board. You know, hitting deadlines, drawing what other people want. It was a way for artists to get out, be social, and just draw. There was no structure. There was no, you have to draw this, that, the other thing. Some nights you drank more. Some nights you drew more. And the only thing that we ever did kind of in any kind of structured form is we had one sketchbook that we'd pass from person to person, and you added like one thing to the drawing, and it was kind of like who's going to draw a dick first, and you know,
How long did you get? Like 2-3 people?
it would be
And it
yeah,
was
it
always
usually
finished.
really came quick,
then it started with the dick, and then it's all right. Who's going to draw the rest of it?
right?
All right, got
That is hard.
But then you would like hand the pen and the pad to someone who wasn't there to drink and draw, and you'd be like, just draw something,
and then you just hand it to the other
Yeah.
bartender and just make her draw something.
so it was just
Which is
fun.
So you went from drink
Yeah.
and draw to Inebri-Art.
yeah.
yeah.
Where'd you come up with the name Inebri-Art?
So there is one former member who is no longer a member. He's left Inebri-Art, and I had a shitty retail job at a company that I won't mention because I feel like maybe people listen to this now. What? And I was kind of at the point where I'm like, maybe this could be a business. And maybe it can get me out of my shitty retail job. Well, it needs a name. So we were pounding beers and having chicken, not at Speedwell Tavern.
Fair enough.
It was somewhere else.
Yeah,
I think
you
I
guys
might even
weren't
been
open
before
yet.
you guys were open.
Things you don't
wow.
have to say.
Yeah.
That's okay.
They weren't open yet. It is not our fault.
Best excuse ever.
Yeah.
So he came up with the name, Inebri-Art. I'm like, fuck, that's really good. And so like a few weeks went by, and I'm like, hey man, about this Inebri-Art thing. He's like, fuck, that's a really good name. And I'm like, yeah, jackass, you came up with it.
No, that's perfect because
Yeah.
a person that comes up with a name
Was
based off
so
inebriated
drunk he didn't
should
realize
be,
it, yeah.
should
Yeah.
be drunk enough where they don't.
So that's where the
remember
name came from.
it. That's pretty damn good. There's something kind of romantic behind that. Like as far as alcoholics are concerned.
But the funny thing is, if push came to shove, if I knew where Inebri-Art was going to be, I wouldn't have named it Inebri-Art.
really,
Yeah.
you think?
Why not?
Good question.
Because I feel like Inebri-Art's changed so much, and I feel like it alienates people. And one thing that we really have two rules: it has to be fun, and everybody's welcome. And a lot of times we invite people out stuff, or be like, "Hey, you should come to this, you should come to that," and they're like, "Well, I don't drink." And I'm like, you don't have to fucking drink.
Right.
But because it has that name, people kind of
The logos of
Right.
bottle.
But that's
Right,
how
right.
you did start it.
100%. That's how it came about.
Yeah.
So I don't like. I'm kind of on the fence. Like I
So
kind of
as you
regret
grow,
it
you think you pigeonholed yourself with a name.
a little bit, but
So let's think of the names that we can change it to.
Well, I
Oh,
don't know.
I'm
Is
definitely not
pigeon-
changing
I
that.
don't know. Is pigeonhole
How
a bad
about-
thing though? If
No,
you're too broad, then you're just like everyone else.
I do like it because
First of all, you can't say broad. And what do you mean? What
You
do
gotta say
mean-
babes.
What does pigeonhole actually mean?
Pigeonhole means like you back yourself into a corner by your identity of your name.
Yeah.
And I can see where
Oh,
he's
I
saying.
thought it would meant something else. All right, my mistake.
nothing.
Not what you
No,
do on Saturday
no.
nights.
That's glory hole.
I want me some glory hole.
No, but it's one of those. I don't know. Like I do like because we have this fun vibe, but sometimes I feel like people steer clear of us because they're like, "Well, I don't drink," or
Right.
whatever.
And it's easy for me to say because I've gotten to know you guys over the last year. So I maybe the first time I saw like the business card, or whatever, I kind of assumed it was a half drinking club, half art. I can see that.
Yeah,
well, I
I
mean,
can-
that's how it started. So
Yeah.
we were
Right.
a drink.
So
we were
it made a
bunch
lot
of
more sense in the
drunks
beginning
without
and less
Right.
now. But
Yeah.
I wouldn't change.
So
it
how
now.
did you guys meet?
He's
Yeah,
my
fish.
dealer.
Yeah.
It's true. True
Yeah.
story.
So is it drugs? Yeah.
No, it's not that cool.
No, they just play cards.
No.
Wait, what?
They just play
Dungeons and
cards.
Dragons?
Yeah.
Well,
There's
yeah,
no
but
cards in
that's
Dungeons
a lot
and
later.
Dragons.
You have cards.
Well, okay, there's cards in Dungeons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeff. No. Yeah, never mind.
Anyway, no, way back when, Andy used to own a comic book shop up in East Bridgewater.
No shit.
Yeah. And one day I was, driving up to work, and I stopped off. Well, actually, I'm way home because it's early. So I was stopping off after work, and I was looking for a book, and, 30 seconds in, he's making fun of me like, okay, this is a business I need to frequent because this guy's kind of an ass. I'm in.
Kind of a douche. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
30 seconds in, I'm being made fun of for the book I'm picking up. I was like, you dickhole.
Do you remember what it was?
But it makes you come back.
Yeah, I do. It was the Superman Batman annual.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's like, what book do I have to buy to impress this guy this time? I'll get him this
He
time.
deserved it.
No. If there's anything we've learned over the years of my buying comics is that I buy shit that gets canceled fast.
So I was right.
Yeah. The good news is I get a complete run. It's only like 7 issues. We're fine.
I can buy L7.
Yeah.
So just from you frequenting his
Yeah.
comic
Yeah.
book store, and you guys built
And
a
we,
relationship
you know,
after that?
And then we started drinking after work, and then he was going to the Plymouth Fridays for a trivia night, and he needed help.
Yeah, we really did, like, that's
That
where
is-
our friendship really came in.
Yeah, and it was like,
Yeah.
hey,
It's
what are
trivia.
you doing? You want to go to trivia? And I'm like, yeah, I'm a giant fucking nerd. I'm in. And then we won a lot. And then
Like a
we
lot,
won
a lot.
like
So
erratic.
Fish won.
No.
No,
It sounds to me like you weren't doing a good job, and you recruited Fish, and then Fish
It's-
came on, and then when you guys
I
started
will.
winning.
I will flat out admit
No,
that.
at Fridays it was a cakewalk.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
yeah,
we
Square
were
peg round hole.
we were
Like talking about
we were
it.
correcting
we were
the people
correcting
reading the questions.
questions.
And not like that's not the right answer, like that's not how you pronounce that word.
Jesus Christ!
But
You're
you're not-
those guys.
But you're not geeks.
Oh, no, we are.
We're I'm a huge.
100%, dude.
Yeah.
All right, so Inebri-Art, you said went from drink and draw.
Yep.
So now when you do it at the New World Tavern,
Yep.
that's a plug. You
On Main Street in Plymouth.
Pollock.
It's a what?
What? Not that.
That's a
I said
fish.
a plug.
A
I
Pollock.
said it's
A pollock.
So yeah, that's a Pollock.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah.
Main
you
Street?
You use models.
Yeah.
Um,
That was out of spite.
Oh, we talked about this.
Yeah.
I've told you this story.
Yes, you have.
Have I ever told you this story?
I don't think you have.
When you interviewed me a year ago yesterday.
This isn't about you, Jordan.
You. Well, neither was my interview.
That's
we
true.
talked about you
That-
the whole time.
that's true.
But yeah, so
Yeah, all these
so this is
interviews are about
revenge.
Andy.
All right.
But Andy actually told us all stories. The whole fucking
Jordan's listened to 12 episodes. They were all his.
Yeah, no, they're all mine. The whole fucking
As long
live
as someone's
drawing
listening.
thing was out of spite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
So there is a worldwide group called Dr. Sketchies. And
That's what they call Karl.
Dr. Sketchy? No, they just call him Sketchy. So there is a Boston branch, and at the time there was a Providence branch. And both of those are bitch to get to. So I contacted them, and I'm like, I'd like to start a Plymouth branch. And the response I got back was, you can't because it's within 50 miles of Boston. So I responded back, I'm like, well, that depends on where you're standing in Plymouth. Could be 40, could be 70. Plymouth's huge.
Right.
And so the woman's like, all right, well, reach out to the woman who runs the Boston branch. If she signs off on it, I'll give you approval. I'm like, fair enough. So I sent an email, been like, listen, I'm just going to try and draw from the Plymouth Cape. I'm not going to try and infringe. I'm not going to try and bring people from Braintree down or whatever. And she got back to me and said, no, I get people from Plymouth. And I'm like, yeah, I don't want to fucking drive to Boston anymore. So there was like 2 or 3 days where I was just kind of like pissy. And then Karen Fabian, who used to own a gallery in town here, was like, well, why don't you do it? And I'm like, well, where am I going to do that? She's like, why don't you go talk to the New World Tavern? They have a spot. I'm like, oh, shit, that's a really good idea. I bet you they're super nice there.
And you were right.
No, I was wrong.
I let you have that.
So that's it. It just was out of spite. Why are you taking my pen? Oh, you crossing
just
stuff
keep
off.
talking, yeah.
All right. So, so that's kind of how the whole drawing thing.
Analyzing.
And that was literally 5 years ago. Monday,
Yeah.
August
give or
5th.
take the
So these other places
day,
too
yeah.
in Providence and Boston, they do models.
Providence is to best of my knowledge doesn't do it anymore. Boston still does, but yes, it's out of spite. But us being us, we did it better.
Yeah, I would.
We've been super lucky and worked really hard, and we get really good models.
A testament to you guys because, I mean, you just said a major city doesn't even do models anymore. And, like, in Providence. And that's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
So you guys basically created this live drawing thing at bars out of spite, and you're still doing live models. And you're up to twice a month now?
Twice a month now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, you've had 5 years
Yeah.
at the New World Tavern.
I've only broken one glass.
What's that?
I've only broken one glass.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I hated that glass.
Good thing I ducked. So, 5 years of models.
Yep.
And I believe, and I haven't seen all of them,
Okay.
but I've seen, I want to say most.
Okay.
60%.
Did you see the one we had in there like
I'll tell you
about a month ago?
The model
God
you
damn,
had
he was
last
good.
time was the best model I've ever seen.
What was his name?
Amber?
Andy Driscoll.
That was 2 times ago. That was 2 times ago.
That was the last
Yeah,
time
you should have
saw
seen him. And I walked in, and all he could do was not look at me.
I couldn't because I started fucking laughing, and everyone, literally, people were like,
You
"Stop
were laughing. You should have seen
Pe-
everybody else in the place.
People like, "Stop!" I'm telling you, like the response on that, I was literally like, "Fuck, I'm gonna have to do this again."
You're gonna, at least once a year.
Look, dude,
People were drawing smiley
Dude.
faces with X's through them.
That's-
and I'm like, that looks just like
dude,
him.
dude, every single person on Facebook, "Oh, I can't believe I missed this. I can't believe I missed this." And I'm like, "Fuck, I'm gonna have to do this again for real."
Yeah.
I've been saying for 2 years, I'll go up and model anytime you want. And it was the only time you said, I almost took you up on
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Dude, I would have been there. Like, I would have.
It's not easy,
I'm
It's
walking
not
like,
easy. You sit there, you move. You don't move, you
dude.
move.
I'm telling
Don't
you,
move, you move.
you think it's that easy, but it's not because you
Fish, when you getting up there?
No.
you have to hold a pose that's interesting, and you can't move. And it sounds super easy, but it's not.
No, it's not. I think I did it once in college.
A lot of
Drawing, or are you the model?
No, it was the model. Yeah, well, I was in art school.
a lot of what made it easy was we've been doing it for 5 years.
Right.
So you're like, okay, I kind of know what they're looking for, but to not move is.
So how do you find a model?
That's
so-
a good question.
I'll tell you how we found. I'll tell you how I found the first one.
You're not going to tell me how you found all of them. We don't have to start from the
All right, so the first one we found. No. But the first one's kind of a funny story. Shut up. So I was at a comic book convention, and because I used to do it a lot, I don't do much anymore, but I used to sell artwork at comic conventions. So this smoking hot brunette comes up to the table, starts talking about how she's a model, and I used it to get her number. Because I'm like, oh, yeah. And, like, never called her.
You sneaky son of a
Yeah,
bitch.
see? Never called her.
But you got her number.
Got her number. Yeah. Shut up,
Don't do
Carl.
that.
And so then when we decided to do it, I'm like, well, I have this model's contact. Why don't we reach out to her? Literally all I ever spoke to her was like maybe 10 minutes at the table. And she turned out to be phenomenal. Unfortunately, she's moved to Norway, so
Yeah.
we haven't been able to bring her back.
So when is Inebri-Art
All the good
Norway?
ones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they really do.
But she referred us to the next model. And then there was a good, like, I'd say I spent a good year of, like, creeping people on Facebook. Just been like, hey, so I see your model. You want to come to the back room of a restaurant? And got drunk a couple times, talked to beer. You know how they have, like, the beer girls
Right.
sampling beer, whatever.
Yeah, of course.
Got shot down by a few of them. Been like, wow, that was fucking creepy. And Fish like, yeah, that was super creepy. Don't do that again. So there was just a lot of, like, trial and error. And then I knew we'd turned a corner when this one model that we've used a couple times, Isabel, contacted us. And was like, I'd like to work with you guys.
Continue to, yeah, that's awesome.
So you go from drawing models
Mhm.
to doing a podcast
Yeah.
about art.
About creativity.
So you think if you were that good, maybe you'd have a TV show where you can actually see it? Or is your art just good enough for radio?
You looked at
Well,
us?
but here's the funny thing.
Talk about the art here.
Yeah, well,
Well-
it's all about the art.
But here's the funny thing is initially I said to Fish, I'm like, I want to do a podcast about art. And he's like, well, that's stupid. It's visual. And I'm like, that's a
Practical
good
man.
I'm
Still with them.
But I'm like, that's a good point. I'll get back to you. And then I watched a YouTube video with Louis C.K., Ricky Gervais, Seinfeld, and Chris Rock.
They're not the most handsome gentlemen. They're all
No.
talented.
But they
why
were,
would you need a video?
But they were sitting around talking about their process and like, Seinfeld works clean and the other guys don't and how they write jokes and the whole thing. And I'm like, fuck, that's it. It's not art. It's kind of the creative mindset.
Correct.
And that's why we bring on musicians and bakers and writers and comic book creators and actors and my buddy D. Snyder. I don't know if you knew this.
We tried the baker thing and...
Oh, he was baked.
He was baked. Actually, we had him on first.
So the D. Snyder thing was pretty rad.
That was fucking
very
ridiculous.
recent.
Yeah.
You guys had D. Snyder. For those of you that live under a rock or were born like
10 minutes ago?
Anytime after like 1990.
My son knows who D. Snyder was.
about 20 years
Your
ago.
son has very old man taste in music.
D. Snyder.
My
was the
wife
lead
still
singer
has
of-
hair like D. Snyder.
Wow. I don't know if that's true.
No, that's true.
I don't think that's true.
Have you seen my wife?
She has like...
not have hair like-
Humid day.
I don't...
I really
Jen,
don't-
we
I
love
really-
you, Jen.
Yeah, Jen, we love you.
Yeah.
We do not. He did not tell us he
we
was gonna
totally agree with you making him
Yeah.
sleep on the couch.
Absolutely, 100%. I think he should. D. Snyder's the lead singer of Twisted Sister. So how did that happen?
I went...
Because we're not going to take it.
Anymore?
Oh, that was great.
That's a classic.
He's going to sing his other song. But
Classic with a K.
We were given a table at Scaricon in Framingham, which is a horror convention. D. Snyder was one of the celebrities that was going to be there. And a couple days before I was asked to take part in a podcast panel. So I was at the podcast panel. I came back. My friend Kristen was watching the table. And she's like, D's going to be here in 10 minutes. And I'm sorry, what's happening? And she's like, D. Snyder's agent came by and wanted to know if we wanted to interview him. I said yes. And I'm like, oh, great. Okay. And that's like 10 minutes later, I was talking to D. Snyder.
So did you know enough about him to be locked and loaded and just kind of keep it going? I did listen to the podcast.
Yep.
It was very natural. It was smooth. It was...
One of my things about the podcast, and it drives fish nuts, is I don't prep. I don't do research.
Yeah, we could tell. I showed up at 6 o'clock. And
Well, that's funny because I told Karl to show up at 7:30.
so you guys...
That's not research.
Spirits.
That's just,
That's answering your phone.
But the way
God damn it.
the way
Fucking fish. I was hoping to be on my side a little bit, but no.
I'm on the
Everyone
side,
against me.
I'm on the side of my own entertainment. Everything else is just filler.
the way I've always
Continue.
worked is I start with one question and then I ask what interests me.
Right.
Because I'm interested in the whole reason I'm doing this is because I like to meet people. I like to talk to creative people. So I just think of what I want to know next and ask questions. That was a little different because his agent gave us like some key points to hit on. Talk about House of Hair, talk about his movie, talk about this. But I just I knew about those things. So
Right.
I just kind of worked them in the conversation. And I do very little prep. And I just, if someone says something that interests me, what is really a struggle sometimes is when someone's a little on the dull side.
Right.
And like, you ask them a question like, no.
That's why we were surprised.
We actually had a question for you, and we're going to bring it up a little later, but one of the things that, with 100 podcasts that you've done, what makes somebody really, really good versus somebody that is not as good as you would really hope he would have been?
Someone who is genuine, isn't sales pitchy, who's just there to talk. The best ones kind of come, like I'll tell you my absolute favorite. We talked to D. Snyder. We've talked to Emmy winners, Emmy nominees. One of my all-time favorite episodes we've ever had was with Tina Scott, who works right here at the Craft Beer Cellar.
Tina Scott.
Yeah.
We brought her. She'd actually been
great
on
podcast.
She'd been on our other one. She wanted to come in and talk about her art, and the whole thing came about the struggles of mental illness and trying to use art to work through it. And people reached out to her afterwards and been like, I really appreciate what you had to say. And it felt like the most important episode we did.
It was a great podcast.
And she's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And she did that magic trick where she put like $5 out of her bra and blew my brain up.
Well, that's the thing. It came across as very deep and like very important without sort of being guilt trippy or like.
It wasn't beating anyone over the head. It was
Right.
She's a very honest, open person and isn't afraid to talk about things.
Yeah,
that's what makes a great podcast.
What about the worst?
Yeah, I'm
and you don't have
open
to
and
name-
honest, but I'm not talking about it. Right, tell you right now.
So so you had mentioned like this is why Karl kind of jumped on it. Like, what's the toughest podcast you ever done? Like, what? Oh, you don't have to name.
So we're not going to name
but,
names.
No, just what's a tough podcast for you? It's not
so-
what's the toughest, but what.
We're not going to name names, but we did have Karl on one time.
That was a great podcast.
It was.
I got like 3 listeners.
You did very well.
Me, Jen, and
Jen, and
somebody
Karl.
we don't know.
Yeah.
Probably Fish while he's editing.
Oh, I don't count.
Yeah.
I don't count as a listen.
He doesn't listen. Like, he listens so much he doesn't download it.
It seems cheaty.
Sorry.
It's literally already on my computer. What's the point?
So
Touche.
the
Yeah.
hardest thing is when you're an artist, part of what you do, your dedication to your art, you spend a lot of time by yourself working on it. So a side product of that is you tend to be awkward and quiet. So there have been some artists that, you know, I'll see their artwork and I'm like, God damn, this is amazing. Let's get this person in. And then you're sitting across from them being like, God damn, they're boring. And it's because they're just awkward. They're not used to talking about themselves. Artists aren't good at promoting themselves. And it becomes like you're trying to drag the questions out of them. So those are the most difficult.
Yeah, and a lot of that is just because they've never learned how to be out with people or interact or like sell themselves. Because especially if you go to art school, you don't get taught.
And is what we always noticed is artists are a little nuts.
Oh, 100%.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't even mean that's,
Artists, musicians, chefs.
wackos.
Yeah, the more
All in the
creative
best
you
way,
are,
but-
the more
They are, but if they talked more, they'd be nuts and interesting.
yeah. And frankly, Nuts and Interesting is a fantastic podcast.
Yeah.
So you've been doing this for,
A little over
2
2 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
all right, 100th episode.
Yep.
Be honest.
Okay.
Does anybody really listen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So our biggest areas where we get downloaded is Massachusetts, obviously, because that's where we're based out of. And
Singapore.
then it jumps to California.
really,
Yep.
Yeah. California, Virginia.
Virginia, we
got
have
a guy in Virginia.
Yeah.
who's listened to
Maryland,
every
we have a
episode.
steady listener. We had a steady listener in Scotland for a while.
Yeah.
We've been downloaded in Japan, Scotland, Norway, Finland,
Turkey,
Armenia, Cambodia, South Africa.
Must be a dog or something out there that's just really
Yeah, like the UAE.
put like a collar or something.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Iran.
Yeah.
You ran so far away.
You beat
So-
Obviously, Russia.
Couldn't
I'm
get it.
embarrassed to admit
we have-
I was about to
Snyder.
say-
So we had one episode that got downloaded.
Twitter is not a fun Eagles.
That got downloaded in Iran, Russia,
In the
United
it's
Arab
the
Emirates?
UAE or Qatar. I think it was the UAE.
2 weeks before we were in DC.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, we're on a fucking watch list somewhere. I know it.
You might be now. I'll
Yeah,
tell you right
yeah.
now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy to see where it gets downloaded.
Now, besides, not to interrupt you,
Yeah.
but besides doing podcasts and
Oh, and we've had 11,000 downloads total. I don't know if that meant.
Out of 100 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
so that's
Yeah.
11 an episode.
No.
I don't think that math works out.
No. Yeah, wait, it's little less than 11.
No, because I couldn't figure out how to do it, so I kept on downloading like 17 times.
Thank
I
you.
counted for 17 times.
Yeah,
You
sure.
still can't fucking figure out not to tap on the table, though.
They're new microphones. I can do that now.
All right.
I don't know if we said that.
Let it be
but-
known that Karl tapped on the table.
So-
you can hear it.
You get a podcast.
Yeah.
You do Inebri-Art.
Yeah.
You do a bunch of other things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we have day jobs too.
And you have day jobs. You might not like them, but you have them.
I want to know what
Actually, I
So
like
what is-
mine.
What, hey,
Let Karl ask his
I'm
question.
sorry, Karl.
so what is your, what's the word you said it was?
You told me to
No, I
stop
gotta
paying
ask them about
attention.
their art stuff. You said there was a word for it.
Oh, what is the medium?
Yeah, what's your medium?
Oh, okay.
Andy, what do you do?
Andy,
For your
Andy.
personal art.
Generally, when
I would say you're a little bigger than a medium, but go ahead.
is that a fat joke? I feel
little
like
bit.
that's a fat joke.
A little bit.
All right.
It's
We'll
less
call
of
it a pudgy joke.
All right.
I'm laughing
it's-
because I can't.
It's more of a bad observation.
Yeah, it's not really a joke when he's like, "You're fat." I'm like, "Yeah, I am."
Yeah.
You're not fat.
Oh, thanks, man.
Andy.
That was
you're fat.
sarcasm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn it.
No.
Wow. So generally speaking, lately I work in a lot of like pen and ink. That's kind of my go-to.
Pen and ink, so you're doing...
So this is a pen, Carl. I'm holding up a pen for listeners.
Heavy on the contour.
Yeah, but would you say pen and ink? Because if you say pen, obviously there's ink in it.
Yeah.
Would you say pen and paper?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, why is it pen and ink?
I don't know. That's it.
That's
You know,
really
I hate
yeah.
the fact that Carl brought that up, and I've been drawing for 43 years,
Like-
and I'm like, fuck,
Think
god
about it, you
damn
I
it.
love the fact that Carl brought it up.
You've never
And
heard
I don't root for Carl. That was good.
Yeah.
That was really good.
So for any of our listeners who know why it's called pen and ink,
I'm saying
I don't know.
You never hear it called, brush and paint.
and you,
Right.
but
That'd be weird.
Pencil and paper.
But the thing
Yeah.
is, like,
maybe you hear that.
a lot of times I'll do ink washes, which is ink and brush, but I don't say ink and brush.
No.
That's fucking crazy.
But you're not a painter, you're a drawer.
I'm more of a drawer. I do
You-
paint
you
sometimes.
doodles.
But, yeah.
And Fish, you're a comic book reader?
Yeah.
We've formed him into a photographer.
I was a photographer by necessity in that I didn't have anything else to do.
What are you taking pictures of?
Stuff.
Yeah, okay.
Most of the stuff I take pictures of is stuff for Inebri-Art, so it's like I'm photographing. That's a really
Photographing?
That's
You gotta at least say the
Oh,
word
yes.
right.
I think that's
Putting the Inebri,
photographing.
yeah.
Basically, when it started, we
That
stuck a
seems
camera
weird,
in his
too.
hand and been like, take pictures so we can post them online. And
it all kind of snowballed.
yeah, and like a lot
So
of the models.
You're not what you could
I-
consider yourself an artist?
I don't consider myself an artist.
But here's the thing: is a lot of the models and even some of the people who attend, after they attend and he puts up the pictures from the event, they change their profile picture to the picture he took. So
Sure. Really?
clearly,
Yeah.
people are liking it.
Also, your profile picture on Facebook is a sketch.
It is not my sketch. It is in
That was
fact
Monster,
Monster's
right?
sketch.
Yeah.
Yeah, my Twitter and my Facebook profile pictures are sketches that John Cardinal drew me in like 90 seconds.
I always assumed...
Oh, yeah, well, I did not draw that.
That
You
you
can
drew
tell
that.
it looks like me. Believe me, it does not. I did not draw that.
So, Inebri-Art rules has to be fun. Everybody's welcome, and we've done instructional type stuff. And you always have to be like, listen, anyone can draw. It's a skill. You can learn it. It's practice. Fish might be the exception to that rule. I've never,
know about that.
I've
Now, when
never
you-
seen
it's,
worse.
It's a great point that you just said.
They make
So
fun of
when
my
you
stick
come
figures.
to an Inebri-Art
Yes.
in the World Tavern,
Yeah.
do you? I mean, tell everybody what they can do. It's not just somebody who's got a pencil and a piece of paper.
They can order the cauliflower. That's excellent.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Catch
like-
Karl if it's a good day.
Yeah,
But-
so generally, Carl's not there after 5, so you don't have to worry
Yeah,
about that
it's-
shit.
No,
Okay.
it's. I guess you guys do a lot more in there than I thought you did. Some people are drawing with charcoal. Some people have paint. Some people have pencils.
Pencils,
It's-
paint. We
Yeah.
had one girl doing watercolor with, like, she had Crayola markers.
Oh yeah,
And she
Cora.
Cora, yeah. Who was a fantastic artist. So she was using the, like, literally Crayola markers and was using them as, like, her watercolor paints.
Yep.
So she would dip her brush in the water and then, like, take the marker color and then paint with that.
It's awesome.
It was nuts. I'm
So it's
sitting
not just
No,
No.
we have-
drawing
So-
class.
So
No, there's- we
it's
have no
really
class.
not instructional. There's very little instructional. There's plenty of people to help, but it's not like I get up and go, all right, this is the proportion, do this, that, the other thing. It is similar to a figure drawing class.
which is much different from a paint night.
Yes,
Oh, much,
paint
yeah.
night is do this, make this a
by
circle.
number.
Yes,
Correct.
yeah. And so it's very free form. And you can see when people really kind of get it and be like, oh, I don't have to draw the whole person. I can just draw their arm or their face. And you're like, yeah, you can fucking do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Draw the chair. I don't care. And so it's similar to a college level class where you start off with short poses of 2 minutes, and then you go to 5-minute poses, and then 10-minute poses, and you end on a longer pose. You bring your own supplies, and people have everything from just a number 2 yellow pencil, Karl, that I'm sure you're familiar with.
Yep.
iPads, charcoal, markers, colored pencil, ink wash. We have one girl that does oil paints, which blows my mind because those take for fucking ever to draw. Whatever you want to work in.
But there's no judging. It's just come in and draw and
come
go
in,
home with
come in and draw.
Yeah.
Yep. And we have people who have never drawn and come because it's a lot of fun. And then we have industry professionals that come in and it's fun, but it's practice for their trade.
My tattoo artist swears by, and he's
You can name him. Kyle Powers of Brass Lantern Tattoos.
2-time guest of the Inebri-Art podcast. Is my tattoo artist, and he just opened up his own tattoo shop right downtown, basically across the street from where you guys hold your live drawings at New World Tavern.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, and he swears by the live drawing. He goes there, used to be once a month, now twice a month.
Yeah.
And he's one of the iPod.
He uses an iPad, yeah.
He wasn't always that way, but now he's definitely an iPad guy because, the way tattoos work, you got to simplify things. But it keeps him fresh.
Yeah.
He swears by it. I've been in his chair for about 30 hours over the last 2 months, and he talks about it.
We generally
get church.
Oh, that's awesome. We generally get. Oh, we're at church. Can we go for like a nonprofit thing?
Sure.
Oh, but then we wouldn't be able to make profit.
Well, the good news is we haven't. So.
Yeah, we don't.
Yeah.
So, but there's really two responses that we get, and one is I haven't done this since college, and the other is this was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And as long as those are the responses we get, I'm happy.
Don't knock the cans over.
I'll try not to.
I don't know if this is your first time. But.
I'm a little nervous. It'll be the first time being on a podcast.
Yeah. Be gentle, Carl.
So, sorry, Carl, but we're on a tangent here. We're really focusing on the live drawing, but Inebri-Art is obviously a lot more than that. And I listened to your 2-year recap. Actually, Karl and I both sat down and listened to it.
Oh, Jesus.
And you talked about the art show.
It wasn't the first time I listened to it. I listened to it when it first came out. And, I like to play it all the time when I'm in my car and driving.
He doesn't even know how to download it. You downloaded it for him, didn't you?
Anyway, you guys had a groundbreaking art show during Winterfest.
Yeah.
In late December. Or was it early January last
year?
It
was December.
Late
It
December.
was December. Okay.
It was
right
before
before New Year's Eve.
But from listening to your 2-year recap, and if those of you who haven't listened to it, please give it a listen. It's pretty cool. If you want a little bit more background on it.
You can just download it. You don't even have to listen to it, right, Karl?
That's correct.
That's all I care about. But that was a big event for you guys. The hosting of the art shows and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, the live drawing, the painting, the events and stuff like that are cool. But this sort of hosting gallery nights is something that seems like it snuck up on you guys a little.
Yeah, I don't remember how we decided to do. I think it spawned from.
I think we were at the distillery and going, man, this is a cool space. We could use this.
Yeah, but I think it also spawned from hanging art at businesses.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of how that started. And I mentioned her before, Karen Fabian used to hang the art at Driftwood. She closed her studio, or gallery, and contacted me because I knew some people who had some artwork there, and she didn't have their contact for whatever. And she's like, can you let them know that the art's coming down? I had to close my gallery, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, well, who's hanging the art at Driftwood? And she's like, well, I don't know. And I'm like, well, if it's cool with you, do you mind if I reach out to them and see if we can do it? And she's like, oh, please do. So I reached out to Matt, who at the time I had never met him. And he's like, yeah, and this was like, I don't know, Wednesday.
Matt Hennessy, friend of the show,
Yeah.
Bar Talk, listen to it, episode 2. Just
No, one in.
No,
you can say
so
Matt
1 and
Hennessy.
3.
1 and 3. 1
yeah.
and 3. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And so I reached out to him, and it was like a Wednesday, and he's like, yeah, can you have art in here by Saturday? And so I went, yeah, of course, no problem.
Of course.
Then I got the phone, and I'm like, fuck, who am I going to call?
Of course.
So that's kind of how we started hanging art, and then, yeah, we saw Dirty Water Distillery, love Pepe and Brenton, and actually, I remember there was a former, I'm not going to name names because I don't know what happened, but Pepe had a former partner who I initially spoke to, and he's like, yeah, that's great, let's do that. So I showed up one day with some art, to display, and Pepe's like, "What the fuck's going on? Like, who are you?" And I'm like, "Well, I talked to so and so," and he's like, "God damn it!" I'm like, I'm sorry."
Lucky it was Pepe.
Yeah. And and the lucky thing is we brought in a really good crowd that day, and Pepe's like, "Yeah, whatever you want to do, let's do that again."
Perfect.
And,
well, that's proof of the pudding, right?
Yeah.
So that's basically a straight up cold call he was obligated to take, and you guys showed up, and now he's like,
yeah. And now we do an art show there at least twice a year. This October we're gonna do an authors event, so we're bringing in some horror authors.
very nice. What other events you got coming up?
Shit. So we got figure drawing, the authors event, October 13th. We're calling it Spooks and Spirits.
Very nice.
We're going to try and tie that in with the haunted tours in town, but that's kind of like a work in progress. Should I announce the thing that we're... Well, Karl's here, so I'm going to announce.
That's the 100th episode.
Yeah.
You're going to do everything.
So we're working on bringing Rocky Horror Picture Show to Plymouth. Karl is super excited that we're going to trash his background.
He's a sweet transvestite. Pennsylvania,
See,
that's why.
Karl, it's perfect for restaurant. You could have the Eddie special. It could be meatloaf. Yeah.
You walked into it. Dude,
Yeah?
it sounds to me
No.
like you were all about this.
I got to look up this movie. Maybe it's not the one I thought it was.
You know, I'm telling you, man. Our people are
I thought
already...
it was Rocky. Like,
No, Rocky Horror
Rocky
Picture
Horror
Show.
Picture Show. Like fucking Rocky Balboa.
Fir- fir-
with a
all right.
street mask on.
So-
Hey, yo.
So, Karl,
yo,
I'm going to tell you the high
gonna
points.
draw you.
I'm going to tell you the high points and the low points, and you can decide which one's which.
Ow.
There'll be...
How about you just surprise me? Because I'm not sure. It's quite the good idea.
All right. I won't. So, we're going to be bringing that to Plymouth, and Karl's super excited. Jordan's happy because it's not his restaurant.
No, I'm actually kind of disappointed. I feel like that would have went well over a Speedway.
I don't think it would fit.
No.
No.
You don't have enough space.
New World's just kind of built for that sort of thing with the stage and
it's the guy with the Hawaiian
screen.
shirt, green shirt.
So we're looking forward to being part of Winterfest again. We have some new places coming on that we're going to be hanging art. We're doing the Arts for Animals, which will already be over.
Week, yeah.
That was the one. Yeah, that's a big one. That's coming up.
Yeah. So
Where is that?
That's at Bramhall's Country Store. And we were asked... It's weird now we're getting asked to do things, and this was one of those we were asked to put on an art show to raise money for the Plymouth Animal Shelter. So we're like, sure, yeah, we'll do it.
It's awesome.
So
Getting back to the 100th episode.
that's this one.
Okay. Would you have done things differently, knowing how this works now, or did you just say one day, "Hey, let's just talk to people"?
Like I would have asked someone other than Jordan and Karl to interview us? Is that what you mean?
No, because I'm pretty sure that
He's going to say no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's enjoying himself right now. We're doing a good job.
Honestly,
Jordan said I'm doing a good job.
We.
Jordan said I'm doing a good job.
he did say we.
That's the royal.
The royal way.
The royal way.
Ah, yes. Episode.
Jordan's
2-year
just left
recap.
hanging there.
There were like 3 royal we's on 2-year recaps. So we just brought that back.
So,
Very nice.
what was the question again? Oh, would we have done anything different?
Yeah.
I'm joking.
Probably would have changed the
I would have started out with a
initial
better
mic.
mic,
Yeah,
yeah. We
the
would have
first
started with a better
microphone was
microphone.
pretty
Yeah.
fucking horrible.
Yeah.
Were we on that microphone?
You think anybody famous listens to us?
Anybody
Dee
famous?
Snyder does.
Define famous.
Somebody that other people other than in this room would know.
Well, yes. Other people.
Just leave it at yes.
Well, that's
Nice.
that
And
that is-
famous people.
That's not
listening.
famous. Anyone outside of this room that we don't know, like, yeah, those people outside this room listen to the podcast.
That last Snake Hill fucking podcast.
well, no.
That was
But-
that wasn't our show.
but-
It's fine.
I can give you a rough example.
sure.
So for our April Fool's podcast, we wanted to put up like we're interviewing Ray Bork, someone huge, and then have nothing but local covers of Rick Astley. So that was the plan. And then we got like 2 covers. Do you know who Rick Astley is, Karl?
No, but I know.
Never gonna give you.
Give up.
Never
Yeah,
gonna let you down.
that guy.
Never gonna run around. You gonna
Desert.
Yeah. So all right, there you go.
All
So we were
They're
gonna.
leave me hanging.
It was going to be
Thank you.
like 5 or 6 covers of Rick Astley, all by local people. We got 2. So I'm like, well, that doesn't work.
Wait, who are the two?
Ray Borg.
Rob Lozier
Robert
Yeah.
Lucia.
and Jimmy Craven.
Okay.
And so at one point, someone's like, "Oh, you should see if you can get Rick Astley." And I'm like, "Fuck, he's actually going to be in town."
Get the fuck out of here.
So I reached out to his PR person, and it was kind of going back and forth. Well, let me talk to him. It'll have to be a phone interview. I'm like, "Fuck, for Rick Astley, I'll do a phone interview."
Of course.
Kind of back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Long story short, never happened. But his PR person, Fiona, anytime she's got bands coming in town, she hits us up. Been like, oh, we have this band coming. That's how we got Gangsta Grass, who's an Emmy-nominated band, did the theme song for Justified. Mm-hmm. And then we just recorded, it hasn't even come out yet, with the Low Down Brass Band out of Chicago. And when she has bands coming, she
Nice.
refers them to us,
made a
and she
connection,
listens
right?
to them.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
you know,
So she's gonna hear us.
she's gonna. Well, she listens to at least she listens to the ones that she's responsible for. I
Yeah.
don't know if she listens to them all. I mean, she might.
Yeah.
What's up, homegirl?
Yeah.
I threw it up.
But she at one point she was even like, "Oh, this musician might be good for Bar Talk," and I'm like, "Oh yeah." So
We can bring on a musician. Well,
No,
we
I-
did that. We tried that.
I don't like those artsy-fartsy people.
Well,
I think he was more a drinky stinky kind of person.
Oh, I like those.
I thought he was awesome.
Those I like.
So
But
did that answer your question?
I guess
You don't even know what your question was, do you?
I forgot what the question.
It was, does anybody famous listen?
Oh yeah, I guess people famous do listen.
I don't know. Again, I don't know if she's famous, but
So you guys have 100 episodes of Inebri-Art podcast,
Mhm.
Yes.
right?
How many are you hoping to do?
Yeah, what the fuck? How long are you gonna be doing this after? This?
till it's not fun.
Goal, yeah, until we stop wanting to, I guess.
Yeah,
So you still want to do this?
yeah,
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Sit in like a hot fucking basement.
Well, it's not always this hot. It's a little warm in here
Yeah.
today.
Yeah,
but,
we're just kind of too lazy to turn the AC down.
but here's the cool thing: is like we're it's beyond the basement now. Like we recorded at Scaricon. We got press passes to Boston Comic Con this year, which was such a surprise that I applied for them and immediately forgot about it. So when we got approved, I messaged Fish. I'm like, hey, we got approved for press passes at Comic Con. He's like, I can't get that day off. I'm like, I didn't think we were getting them, so I never even asked.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I think we're gonna go like one day. Steve Hall has us at all the Hop Fest and South Shore Food and Wine Expo. We're gonna
Me
be
and the family went to Comic-Con in Boston there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
We're gonna be
I'll tell you, there's some talented people up there drawing whatever they're drawing,
Yeah.
and they draw it like in 2 seconds.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
You're amazed by the talent that they have,
And then Indy
that I
was
don't
there,
think
too.
they appreciate because they're just sketching real fast, boom, 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 and I'm like, holy crap, this guy's really good,
Yeah.
and everybody else stunk, and I mean like
Smell bad.
Oh,
Well,
holy moly!
first of all, you're in a contained area with 30,000 of your closest friends,
Yeah.
and not all of them really are up on the
Yeah,
whole
not
hygiene
all of
thing.
them were my
yeah.
friends.
Yeah,
No.
yeah,
But I did appreciate everybody that dressed up for the occasion.
yeah. Mhm.
And there was people that dressed up, and there was people that didn't. There was nobody in between. There was nobody like, oh, that's a stupid costume. You'd go like, oh my god, did you see that person? Jen, come over here. Look at this person.
And the amazing thing is, like, especially with the ones that you can really track are like the Star Wars costumes because they're so well documented. But the costumes you see at Comic Cons are better than the ones that were in the movies.
It's insane.
Oh, it's
Because
My favorite is
in the movies.
I
They're
don't
like
know
we
if
were
people
never
make them,
yeah.
buy them. I
No,
don't know where they get them.
The Star Wars ones.
very
It's
impressive.
to be part of. It's called the 501st Legion of Stormtroopers. To be part of it, you have to make your own.
My favorite is that I don't know if there's any South Park fans out there listening, but the dude that played World of Warcraft, the nerd guy.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the big fat guy.
There was a guy that like camped out outside of Comic Con, like
Oh god,
dressed
he
up
was.
as him.
I've seen the. Yeah, he was spot on.
It was
Yeah.
fucking ridiculous. Like the tower of the computer was the right color.
Yeah.
The dragon figurine, everything from
Yeah.
front to back. And I thought about it, and I'm like, the time it took for him to nail that, let alone camp out for like 18 hours outside of Comic Con, not even actually go in because he was in like the parking lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can only
And there
imagine what the costumes look
There
like
was
inside.
more people taking pictures with other people walking through than they were with the people that were there.
Yeah.
Right.
at the Comic-Con.
And
it's free.
I only have two issues with that. One, that they tend to forget about the people who paid to be there. So there's been a number of times as a vendor that I've had to go, hey, Batman, piss off, stop standing in front of my table, because they're there taking pictures for like 20 minutes, and you're like, go away. And then the people that, when you do the Comic-Con world, and this isn't even really a cosplay thing, people get a very inflated perspective of their fame. Like,
Right.
I've heard people be like, well, they deserve me. I deserve an explanation of why the table's gone up $20.
Oh, they're lucky I'm here, basically.
Yeah, kind of. And you're like, just be happy that people want your art.
Right.
And there's a term called cost famous, where it's people, those cosplayers that make their costumes will have a table and people will come up to get their autograph because they make a costume.
So it's a form of art.
It is a form of art.
They are emulating something that already exists.
then they kind of forget that that's very focused in that world.
Right.
Like, once you go outside of Comic-Con, you are no one.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't want to.
And I don't mean that.
It's kind of how I feel after I leave these podcasts. I'm like a really
Dude,
popular podcast host. Like all three people I listen to this, and then I
but
leave here.
you guys experience this too. Like, in Plymouth, you guys can't go anywhere without being Jordan and Karl.
Well, the gods. I mean,
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but like, people know who you are. And,
Demi.
well,
All right. I will live with that.
let me ask you this.
No, you're right. And there's a lot of times that we want to go somewhere where nobody knows us.
I was just gonna say, have you ever been like, I want to go out, but I don't want to go in Plymouth?
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
And it's like, at least, you guys have that perspective of like, it's a really small pond. I happen to be known in that small pond.
Very cool.
But
It is correct.
It is very cool.
It is
It is
correct.
nice.
No, we're very cool.
No, you're
Really
not.
cool. Yeah.
We're very cool.
You're
so
right.
we're interviewing.
It is nice.
Yeah.
It is nice to go somewhere, especially with my wife, where everybody knows you and you feel important, and everybody's saying, "Hey, what's
But your
going
wife
on?"
hates
or
it.
waving. My wife hates it because
Yep.
she wants
So,
a conversation with me, but I'm talking to everybody else in there.
I'm going to tell you
All
guys
we
this.
do.
I'm going to tell you guys this story because it just happened, and
Yes.
it fucking made me laugh,
Let's
and I love him. Mike Wisdom.
Love Mike Wesley.
Yeah. So
Chef Tasty.
Tasty.
Yeah.
So I stopped in the Tasty. It was my friend's birthday, Kristen. She was like, I don't know, 75 or something. And I hope she listens. And
I can tell.
yeah, so Fish, so Fish was on his way. Mike like sees me through the kitchen window. He's like, "Hey man, what's going on?" I'm like, "Hey, what's up?" And he comes out and he's like, "Hey, how you been? Blah blah blah. The podcast's great. Blah blah blah." Yeah, I hear Jordan and Karl have one too. I hear it's all right. Do you like fish? I'll get you some ceviche.
You were like, I would
And I'm
rather go without Michael Murphy tonight.
So he goes
Doesn't
in,
mind
Second
wrong.
name
Yeah.
drop.
so he goes into the kitchen and he gets the ceviche and he comes out and hand delivers it and be like, "Oh, you let me know how that is, blah blah blah." And I turn to my friend Kristen. I'm like, "If I was on a date, that totally would have worked, right?" And she's like, "You would have so gotten late." I'm like, "Fuck, it's your birthday."
We don't treat you like that as people,
Yeah,
do we?
yeah, no.
And then you told her what ceviche was, and then she was like, "I'm not eating that."
Oh no, she's down. Yeah,
Yeah, that
Yeah.
is.
No, but
Dude.
it is
Mike Murphy.
nice to go sometimes to a place where nobody knows you.
yeah. It's
I aim for that.
Yeah.
I don't want to be seen, but it's a nice thing in the other way around too.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
They're both nice. It's just
Yeah.
most people don't have to have that thought of,
Right.
am I going to be recognized? Do I want to be recognized?
Yeah.
I'm in sweatpants tonight.
Right.
You know?
It's kind of
When
cool.
you want to be
so-
recognized, nobody says nothing to you. Like, shit, I'm with my friends, and nobody said hi.
I mean, it's gonna be kind of cool for you guys though too. At the same time, so you sort of married like the both. Like you directed it towards us because like we're obviously like the restaurant guys in town or whatever. But you guys are restaurant guys in town too. Like you're doing your events at restaurants, so you're in that network. So you're getting that treatment.
Yeah,
And
it's really
while
weird.
also being on the other side.
It is absolutely baffling because it's like I don't really like attention. So there's a lot of "Hey, fish." I'm like, "Hi,
right.
I just want a drink."
Hi.
Well, wait till this podcast comes out.
Go on my
Forget
Facebook
about
and
it.
watch me ride a
Candy's
bull.
gonna be thrown.
I love that one. That's my all-time favorite video. But it happened. It happened.
Next time, hold on.
Yeah, it happened at.
I was trying.
That video is available on the Inebri-Art YouTube channel.
Riding the bull.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's what I'm saying.
he was so drunk. It was.
You were on there for fucking like 7 seconds.
First of all, it
Actually,
felt like
you
an
win
hour
a
and a half.
prize, I think, right?
Yeah, right. He didn't win a prize.
The guy
I
didn't even turn it on yet.
I know. He was just like, you're trying to get on there. Like,
They are, honest to God, harder to climb onto than you'd think.
that was the best part.
I could tell.
Like,
Because one,
they don't stop it at like, okay, this is a
Really,
good.
because it didn't look like you were climbing on it, if you know.
But they don't stop it as like, this is the point where you're going to get on. It just stopped when the last person fell off.
so I basically had like a.
He's drinking lighter fluid,
Yeah, basically, I was at like a cup and a half full of liquor.
and all of a sudden he's like, "I'm going to ride the mechanical bull," and we're like, "Yeah, yes, you are. Let's get you another drink."
it's a great
And everybody
video.
said, that's
man.
a good idea.
Yeah.
I think that needs to be like the fucking. If we can make like a GIF out of that, or they call it a GIF, whatever.
It's a gift.
It's a gift.
You know what?
A gift.
I've actually not ride a mechanical bull. Have you?
No, I haven't.
So it's on my.
Actually, you know,
It's
it's
on my
not
list.
fair for me to be busting balls, I guess, because I've never done it. Actually,
First of
I've
all,
rode a
don't let that stop you.
mechanical whale.
What?
You what?
I've rode a mechanical whale.
Yeah, Stop and Shop. It doesn't count.
No.
You put in a quarter and.
No, there was a bar
Yeah,
in
I've read-
Bedford that was on Bar Rescue, and we're doing Bar Talk now. But they replaced the bull with the fucking whale, and I rode
That's
that.
like the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it probably lasted
It ca-
as long as
Yeah.
Michael Murphy.
Yeah, were you?
That's right, ladies. Jordan and Michael Murphy last as long as each other.
Hey. I don't care if the microphone here. Doesn't matter. Oh, shit. So what's in the future? What's in the future now?
Jesus.
You got podcasts rolling out. So you got
Yeah.
Old Colony Cast.
We got Old Colony
You got
Cast.
Jam Packed.
Yep.
You got the award-winning, Emmy Award-nominated Bar Talk Cast.
I don't remember that one.
Have
Have you listened to that one, Fish?
Technically, I have.
And then the flagship.
It's literally
Inebri-Art,
I love
right?
that. Yeah,
so it's
I
the
have
four,
to.
right? It's the four,
Four,
right
yeah.
now.
Mhm.
The main Bar Talk will eventually sort of take over, and we're all getting ready for that. But so you got the podcast going. You got now. Last time
Well-
you interviewed me a year ago, there was one life drawing. Now there's 2 a month. You got the mug thing came out of nowhere.
Yeah, that
The
kinda-
glass
yep.
painting
Yeah.
thing came out of
Yeah.
nowhere. The art showing at Winterfest was way bigger than you guys expected.
Yep.
Humbled you up, but also motivated you. So, what's on the horizon? You guys, you got to be swinging dick right now.
Well, you know, we have big things planned for Bar Talk up until Jordan has a second baby and takes another maternity leave.
Hey, that's not fair.
Got a
Carl
couple
could have
years.
another baby.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Well, Jen could.
Well, honestly, we have like lots of ideas, and it becomes one of those. We have more ideas than time.
Or competence.
We
There's
can
a
we
lot
can
of-
fake
Summing up
we can
credit,
fake
guys.
competence. We can fake that.
It's one of those things where, see, he says that, but every time it becomes we have to figure out how to do something, it becomes Fish, figure out how to do
That's
this.
not entirely true. It's partially true.
It's mostly true.
If it doesn't involve talking to people.
You guys
Yeah.
are so cute.
But
You do all the talking, I do all the everything else.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shut
I
up.
listened to your recap. I mean, Fish, you were in there as much as Andy, man. You guys had some great
You
bands.
keep on bringing up the 2-year recap. Is that the only one you listen to?
But he listened to it 12 times.
I did.
Yeah.
No, but it's the most recent one, and it really brought
Wait, did we put one up
together-
today? You didn't put one up today?
I totally put.
No, yeah, I did. We listened
was like-
to that one too.
Yeah.
All right.
Michael.
It's going to have to fucking fire you.
We upload all of them.
Don't do it. Just don't.
Sean Whalen?
Sean
Don't
Whalen.
get it wrong. Yeah,
See?
it was.
I didn't even see it. I
Is he
know
the
who it
guy
is.
that draws the whales in the buildings?
No,
No.
he was in People Under the Stairs. No, he was in People Under the Stairs and Twister. And,
And do you know the?
Got
somebody
Milk commercial?
Whalen.
Yeah. Do you know the Aaron Burr Got Milk commercial?
No. Fuck.
Carl, do you know who Aaron Burr is?
Aaron Burr, yeah, he's the guy who shot Lincoln.
No, that was John Wilkes Booth.
John C.
He's the
Reilly.
guy who.
John C. Riley. And this is the Inebri-Art History Podcast.
I need to see that painting now.
What, John C. Riley shooting Reagan?
Yes.
I said shooting Reagan. Like, I'm any better.
At least they're both alive at the same
Yeah.
time.
Tell me, doesn't sound like a name that
That
would
was
do not
Tom
shoot
Brady.
a president.
That was Tom
John
Brady?
C. Riley.
Did he get shot?
I don't know. I thought the bullet was deflated.
Whoa!
Is that like that? Is that like it?
That was pretty good. All right, let him finish. The stage is yours.
So we have lots of plans, but it becomes like a time and money thing, and the more we make with Inebri-Art, the more we'll be able to do. We have video projects we want to do. Yeah, there's tons of my grand, like, never going to happen plan would be that Inebri-Art has YouTube and Twitch streams and multiple more podcasts, but it's all funding.
Not sure what a Twitch stream is.
I was wondering what a Twitch stream. I was thinking I've been having a lot of those.
Yeah. Okay.
No, it's an online streaming service.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like YouTube, but it's live.
Correct. Last call!
I don't think we do that on this.
We don't do that here.
Yeah.
I was going to try.
That's your show.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I blacked out. So, are you going for... So, art is a visual thing. Is
Yes.
video format something, or... Obviously, you got the Facebook page. You guys' website? Do you have
Yeah.
So you got
nbsp.com.
a website. So, art being a visual thing, for the most part, there are musical arts and stuff like that. Are you thinking about doing some maybe simulcasts or some live podcasts coming out or anything like that? Is that a medium you...
Are you asking me or Fish? Because that is a totally separate answer. Because Fish will say one thing, I'll say something different.
That's perfect.
I will say one thing, Andy will say yes.
Yeah.
Because Andy always says yes. And then 5 minutes later, he's trying to explain to me what he just agreed that we were going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I'm having a panic attack trying to figure out how to do that.
But we've never fucked it up so bad that it was a disaster.
No, but...
All right, so shut up. So Inebri-Art definitely started off in the visual arts, but I think has expanded well beyond that to performing arts, to visual arts, music, and so in the future I see it being a media thing with, like I said,
So like a visual podcast.
No, like shows,
Right.
like actual shows,
Like you did at Winterfest.
no, like
TV shows.
Netflix type shows,
Shit.
like
Yeah.
shows. Like we have plans for shows.
Like Letterman.
No.
No.
I'm going to have to lose weight.
Oh, we're not putting. No, you gotta.
TV adds 10 pounds, you know.
Yeah,
Camera adds a couple.
you got a face for downloads.
You got to do it before we get
That's
there.
the nicest thing you've ever said.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, we have like programming ideas that we'd like to do more with our YouTube channel. Right now, it's just kind of podcasts and other
It's
like
the podcast
short videos.
and me riding a bull. And did we ever upload you crying?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
He was crying because you fell off the bull and he couldn't stop laughing.
No, they fed me extract of Carolina Reaper.
Yeah.
Dave Flip. No.
Dave Flip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking witch doctor.
Yeah. Basically.
Dave Flip from Boston Ballistic.
Yeah.
Sauces. For those of you listening, I'm not aware.
That's one thing that we want to do is we want to do like a
Like the wing
no.
one that they do
Well,
there.
we do want to do some sort of thing like that, but we want to do like a. We had the visual arts Winterfest type thing. We kind of want to do something similar that's like the farm to table local David Flip, Pretentious Pickles people, to shout out the creative food side of things. But
Dr. Davey over at Plato's Harvest, he drops off his...
is that Farmer Dave that everyone keeps
Farmer
talking?
Dave.
Yeah.
Farmer Dave. Everybody, you listen to the Jake Hill Bar Talk podcast, you might be a little up to speed.
And he was 100% right. The tacos at Bram Halls are dope.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
He makes the tortillas from scratch.
But I mean, we have lots of ideas. It's just a matter of we have full-time ideas and Inebri-Art's part-time thing.
Yeah.
Of course.
So we're on the verge of getting our first paid sponsor for the podcast.
Woohoo!
Which is nothing to. I mean, it's awesome, but it's more like covering expenses.
Yeah.
Step in the right direction.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
yeah.
100%. And so it's going to take like paid sponsorships and stuff like that we can then go. Hey, I can go part time or quit my job or,
Right.
in order to invest more time. And,
So how do people reach you guys? If they want to be on this podcast,
well, they can go to our Instagram page, Jordan.
we have an Instagram page?
No.
Well, you might want to start.
We will by the time this goes live.
All right. When's this going on?
Honestly, how do they reach you guys? If they want to be even on the show, give you guys feedback, or want to get some information on the drawing nights,
Or want to be a model.
want to be a model, how do they reach you
So
guys?
they can email Inebri-Art at yahoo.com. They can find us on Facebook, and they can find us on Twitter at Inebri-Art, and our website.
Which is nbsp.com.
Yep, Inebri-Art.com. They can come to the New World Tavern the first Monday or third Wednesday of the month and meet us there in person, live.
Fantastic.
And really, if you drink down in downtown Plymouth enough, you'll run into one of us.
Yeah, just ask around.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Second best fried chicken in the world is at Speedwell Tavern, according to Inebri-Art.
Did we say that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you guys.
Who'd we say was better?
You know where the first one was.
No.
The New World Tavern.
Some diner or something.
Dave's Diner.
Yeah.
Dude.
Damn it.
I'll
do
be
that
honest.
point blank?
But see.
See, I'll be honest, I've
no,
never been.
No. But see,
It was country fried chicken.
but this is the thing is like when I think fried chicken because you guys do wings and tenders,
which is fried.
right? I know, but like in
Hold
my
on.
brain, I think of like Kentucky Fried Chicken, like drumsticks and thighs
like
and breasts and something got dirty.
I had to do it.
Have you had it there? Have you had it?
No, I haven't.
Go down there and check it out, man. It's fucking good.
Totally got it.
I'll be honest. I've never been.
Yeah.
No?
I've
It's
never-
really good.
Wait a minute. So only 50% of Inebri-Art thinks that that's the best.
Technically a third, because we never asked Moss's
Yeah, no.
opinion on this.
Mr. Murphy, have you ever had Speedwell chicken?
I've had Speedwell chicken several times. It is fucking delicious.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah,
We almost go there almost
we are-
every.
We
Yeah.
almost go there.
No, I know. I did say that, didn't I?
We almost go
We
there.
almost go there.
but then we end up at like the captain's den.
We
'cause
go
it's too far.
We go there after almost every
Yeah.
recording. That's what I meant to say.
It's where
so
we
many
end
good
up.
places down
Yeah.
here. I'm
Yeah.
just growing feathers with the amount of chicken that I sell, so I have to,
And how many pounds is that?
11.
200 and something.
Now, is that include the bones, or is that like just
Yeah.
the
Are we talking
tenders?
about me, or are we talking about wait, what's going on?
I'm just talking about the
Look, we're not-
the
we're not
ringer
saying
ringer
we're still-
question
yeah.
for the scavenger hunt.
We're not saying, we're not saying we're still bitter, but we're
Yeah.
we're pretty
We're
bitter.
bitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I fucked that up pretty bad.
Well, it's not that. It's that everyone we asked gave us a different wrong answer.
How many pounds of chicken I go through during a week?
Yeah,
Speedwell Tavern.
and he had his kitchen answer
Half
just
done.
Yeah.
tenders or something like that. And
Half ton.
Yeah. All I'm saying is Matt Audette threw us under the bus.
oh fuck, it was Audette, wasn't it?
we
It was.
had-
That son
I
of a
can't be
bitch.
responsible
We had a-
for what
we
that
had a-
dude does.
We had a guy
look at
inside.
that.
That's it. We're canceling his fucking podcast.
Yeah. I don't think it's been up in a month
Jam-packed with
anyway.
bullshit
Yeah.
is what it is.
What's the matter? You gotta pee?
Yeah, we got to
Yeah, the bar. Yeah, they're closing.
Oh, Jesus,
Tatum would like
been
to
that
go
time?
home.
All right. Well, I didn't realize it was that late.
Wow, holy shit. Well,
It's like
thank
midnight at the Oasis. Midnight at the Oasis.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to the Inebri-Art podcast. I know this is not the Bar Talk podcast, but I am going to wrap it up with a last call format. I just want to thank Andy and Fish. They sort of taken singing Karl and his crazy idea of having a Bar Talk podcast under their wing and managed us and let us have a semi-successful podcast over the last year, which has been a lot of fun. But listen back to their 100 episodes, man. They're doing a lot for the community. They're bringing a lot of life to Plymouth outside of the usual sort of business, commerce, bullshit. It's art. It's bringing soul. It's bringing life.
Download now, listen later.
Yeah, absolutely. They get credit for it either way. But Andy and Fish have been great. They've been great for our bars. They've been great for our businesses downtown. They're bringing.
And they're great for Plymouth.
They're great for Plymouth. Absolutely
Aw.
is the point I'm trying to make. So
It made me cry.
I am honored to be one of the co-hosts of their 100th episode. Even though it was an hour and a half late. Thanks, Karl. But this is my soapbox moment, and I just want to thank you, Andy. I want to thank you, Fish.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Thanks for listening.
Do we get our? Oh, this isn't last call.
Oh,
Thought you
no,
said it was
yeah,
last
you
call?
want to do last call?
Do you wanna
Well,
do
'cause
one?
he
Oh no, I
just
just thought you were. Yeah.
No, let's do
that-
fucking last
I
call.
thought that's what you were doing.
Andy, over to you.
We did the last call a half an hour ago, and he said, we don't do that.
I know, but I want to do it anyway because I feel like.
I just want to say thank you to Jordan and Karl for doing this, but most importantly, thank you to everyone who's listened, everyone who's come out to our events, because if it wasn't for everyone who participated, we'd just be a couple drunks. So it's more about everybody else.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Fish.
Okay. Well, shit, you did kind of take all of them.
No,
You just
come
thank
on, man.
everyone, but no, I'm fine.
I didn't thank you.
Yeah, I mean,
myself. I did notice that
no,
myself.
I
Not drunk enough.
This no, seriously. If he's drunk enough to thank me, you have to take his keys away.
It's a true story.
No, it's not great. You know what? I'm going to thank Fridays
Yeah.
for one, both giving us a place to start this, and then stopping being fun. So we had to go downtown.
So
to
you're
find
thinking
cool
Guy
bars.
Fieri, pretty much.
Yeah, listen,
I
I just gotta
can't.
say, thank
I
God
am-
it's Fridays.
Yeah, I mean, no. At one point, Fridays
Fieri.
was a fun place to go drinking in Plymouth, and then it got corporate and dull. And frankly, there are better places to go now. So we just kind of moved down.
But they started you guys off,
Yeah.
which is awesome.
Well, downtown.
Down.
Flavor Town got a little
Yeah.
flavorless, and
Yeah, it's just this. It was.
But that's
the
okay,
cool
because we're
place
not
to
beating
go.
on Fridays.
Well, no, we're not being on Fridays.
No.
No, they can still get have fun over there. But it's awesome because that's pretty much where you guys met and started.
Yeah, it's where.
Also just right now.
Without that, this whole thing wouldn't have started, and we would never have done any of this.
Pretty wild.
Yeah.
Kyle, you got anything? You just passed the torch? or-
No.
Fantastic.
I don't know. I think him ending on Midnight at the Oasis was.
That was pretty good.
That was.
Can you sing us out, Karl?
I know. Send us out, Kyle.
Come on.
It's midnight at the Oasis. Send your camel to bed.
Thanks for listening.
I'll be your belly dancer, prancer, and you can be my chic.
There's a lot of farm animals in that song.
I'll be honest.
Come on now,
So bad.
cactuses are friends.
Jesus Christ.
I know. I got. I'm shaking my leg.
All right. Thanks for listening to our podcast. Don't forget to check out our other podcasts. There's the Bar Talk podcast. There's Old Colony Cast. And, of course, the Inebri-Art podcast along with Jam Packed. You can find all those on Stitcher, iTunes, SoundCloud, YouTube, pretty much anywhere podcasts are found. If you're on some sort of service and you can't find it, let us know, and we'll help you out and or add our podcast to that too. You can contact us at Inebri-Art@yahoo.com and follow us on Facebook as well as Twitter at Inebri-Art. And feel free to send us some tips, ideas, advice, hate mail, whatever it is, you can get us there. And again, thanks for listening.